Tone Vays, from your suite in Las Vegas, I've purposely kept you for last. Tone, the last time we spoke, you were a big Bitcoin bear. In fact, you said that Bitcoin was going to go down to 3,000 US dollars. At the time, I thought you must be high on drugs, but today I actually think I want some of those drugs. Do you still think we're headed towards 3,000 US dollars?
Yeah, so $3,000 was like my middle point. Around mid to late January, I basically became a proponent of this bear market, and my most optimistic target was $5,000. My most pessimistic target was $1,300. My most optimistic time end to the bear market was late October, early November. My most pessimistic time period end of the bear market was going to be like August of next year. So I'm actually still waiting for my 4,975 or 5,000 to round off number. It keeps trying to get there, but then it keeps bouncing back because shorts get over leveraged and they get squeezed. So I'm still looking for that $5,000 number. We are probably going lower, but I'm trying not to make too many lower targets until we hit my 5,000. So that's my current target, but we're probably going to go lower than 5,000 as well.
Tone, the big question that I've asked everyone else. Last year, this time, we had all the FUD. China ban, South Korea ban, no scaling, etc., etc. This year, that's all behind us. The FUD is gone, and now we're in a bear market. How do you make sense of that?
Because like 80 to 90% of the valuation of Bitcoin is still speculators. And when speculators get scared because prices are going down, they overshoot to the downside. Just like we overshot to the upside. Last year, I was pretty adamant that I expected 7,500 in November to be the ultimate high for the year. Now, clearly, you can say I was wrong by a lot because we went all the way to 20K. But in reality, I was only off by 3 weeks. It's just that in those 3 weeks, the price went up a lot. Now, I was a bear when Bitcoin hit 7,500, reversed, and I was looking for my 5,000 number to get hit then and probably lower going into year end. It was hard for me to time the bottom because we reversed at 5,400, didn't quite make it to my 55. But once we got back to that 75 area, I once again became a bull with absolutely no idea where we were going to top. But what I knew at that time was that we were going to come back to 5,000. It didn't matter to me. In late November, early December, when we were flying up above 7,500, the market could have gone to 100K going into January. And I still would have said we're going back to 5K. The market needs to retest prior significant highs. The 5,000 was never retested, and even the 1,300, the $1,200, $1,300 area from 2013 was never retested, and that $1,300 area continues to worry me to this day.
Now, Tone, I know you're going to love the next few questions. Tone, Bitmain announced in its IPO pack that it's holding a significant amount of Bitcoin Cash. In fact, it's holding over 5% of the Bitcoin Cash in circulation. Does that pose a risk? What are the implications of this?
I mean, it's a huge risk for Bcash. It's only a positive for Bitcoin. It's actually great that they are going public because they're going public, they have to open up their books. They have to be very transparent about everything they do. And this is how we know how much Bcash they're actually holding. And they're holding a significant amount. This shows you that Bitcoin remains as the most decentralized cryptocurrency, not only from a miner perspective, also from a coding perspective, and certainly from a perspective of who holds Bitcoin. There's this giant concentration. It's a huge systemic risk for Bcash because Bitmain can sell that position at any time, and it also potentially shows incompetency in Bitmain and could hurt their stock if the people around the world see that they are holding a huge position that they're counting as an asset that the majority of the people know is just an incompetent technological project. So I think this hurts Bitmain in multiple ways, and it looks very bad for Bcash. It shows how centralized it is from every perspective.
You may not believe it, but it's actually not all about Bitcoin. There are a whole lot of other cryptocurrencies out there. In fact, about another 1,800 cryptocurrencies out there. Now, whereas Bitcoin is down 60%, some of the alts are down 95%. Do you think this could be the end of the utility token and the altcoin market?
I hope it is, but I don't think I'll be that lucky. It depends. Like if Bitcoin continues this really big bear market, it could really be the end. I mean, people are starting to get wiped out. I have so many friends of mine that didn't listen to me and were making big money, trading on these altcoins, trading on these ICOs, buying them in. And I talked to them in private, and they're all like, yeah, I'm stuck in this position. I'm stuck with all these ICOs and all these altcoins. I'm now down so much, I might as well wait. And this is the kind of mentality that you usually get from people that don't recognize they should have gotten out. So I really hope this is the end of the altcoin market, but I don't know. It's really hard to say where the end is. We can certainly have one more pop, but it would be nice. I also think that it's possible that Bitcoin could get stuck in this, bear market going into the halving, maybe going into 2020, because all of this needs to purge. People always say how I compared this to 2014 bear market, which fell from 1,200 all the way to $150, and everybody keeps telling me, well, this isn't the same thing. The fundamentals are much better now. Everything is much better now. But my answer to them is, back in 2014, everyone was a Bitcoin maximalist. You asked an average crypto person in 2014, and he'll tell you Bitcoin. Very few people were altcoiners back then. Today, the majority of the people in crypto are altcoiners. I think the fundamentals of Bitcoin are not as great as they were back then because everyone is divided. And I think when all of those altcoins completely decimate, people will realize that it has always been Bitcoin, and maybe people will be united again behind one cryptocurrency that they're introducing to their friends and family.
Tone, the blockchain is a technology which has the potential to disrupt every single industry in the world. It could be the biggest revolution of our generation. Yet, as a Bitcoin maximalist, you believe that all the other chains will die and that only Bitcoin will survive. Wouldn't it be a tragedy if after this whole revolution, only one chain survived, and that was the Bitcoin chain?
I don't think so. I think all of those other blockchains are just insecure. What I think would be a tragedy is people believing that Ethereum is A, immutable, and B, technologically scalable. And if you start building out your businesses, and these businesses are critical to the economy of your country, and the insecurity of Ethereum causes a major implosion in Ethereum, it would actually end a lot worse than if you just went with a centralized solution. I think the Bitcoin blockchain is the only one that can be considered secure, sustainable, and scalable. And even that is not guaranteed. With something like Ethereum or any other blockchain, it's just too risky to put anything of substance on it because it may actually disappear. Even Bitcoin itself is still, I believe Bitcoin is going to survive into the future, but and people need a little more confidence on that. I just think it's dangerous to use any of those other ones. We only have one internet today, and I'm only expecting one public blockchain into the future, just the way the internet is. I mean, Amazon is not an innovation. Amazon is just mail order catalogs utilizing the latest technology of the internet. I think whichever companies find a way to utilize the Bitcoin blockchain, those companies are going to succeed. I don't believe in this. You have to decentralize everything. Yeah, I need my own currency. It's almost like saying I need my own language, and people have to speak my language in order to do business with me. I find that a little bit ridiculous. And it's possible that the only revolution here is just government censorship-resistant value transfer and just new money for the world to use to opt out of their government system. And that is an amazing innovation. And that might be what changes the world. And I think that is what people should focus on, not thinking ahead and using it for something that it doesn't actually do well.